can also take voice messages on our WhatsApp, so please feel free to drop one. David Umahi, Senator David Umahi, is not. I don't know that this is going to go down well with people, because again, this cannot be an oversight? That this is egregious. If indeed she did not inform anyone, how did
she get authorization?
Yes.
How did she get that verdict and say, okay, we'll go on with closing the road? And it was just not in the news. I mean, we even said it here countless times over and over again. If it was delayed, I want to be certain that she did call and say, oh, it hasn't been closed, or it wasn't closed on the 19th. It was supposed to be closed, but it isn't closed at the moment. Hence, we're moving into a later date when the contractor comes back to us.
Even if in question, even if she didn't officially say, oh, come to the nitty gritties, how would she not have told you as the Minister of Works that something like this would be happening? But then the rest of Lagos knew. It was in the news, and all the officials at the FRSC as well, were talking about it.
Yeah.
So how did that happen? He said, and I quote, "As the minister, I should have been informed. We should have studied the implications before proceeding." Is this the first time I mean, you might want to ask, is this the first time that there's been a closure?
Exactly.
What is the procedure then? And how did you, it would be nice to explain to us how she jumped over you, and none of your aides, nobody knew about it.
It's
until
how you
as
a minister, because I know that some monies would have been signed in to ensure that this construction starts at a particular date, because that Independence Bridge has been one that they have not maintained over time. In fact, I was having a conversation with someone, said all the railings on the side, he walked in from CMS and says all the railings on the side are gone, and anyone who isn't careful could fall and tip off the water when you walk
bridge.
When you walk through the bridge. Exactly.
Disturbingly so.
It's obvious that it was signed that, oh, this person is getting the contract and this amount of monies will be paid. That money has been paid. Follow up.
Or maybe there's something we don't know. In case you do know something, do share with us. You can also send us a text message on 0903 714 2798. That's 0903 714 2798.
Well, you can call us on 0705 69000927. 0705 69000927.
The Minister of Works, Senator David Umahi says, even if it was an emergency, we should have deployed an alternative approach, evaluated the impact, and taking proper measures to minimize disruption. So this is me just on a whim. Can you really absolutely really evaluate the impact of traffic gridlock in Lagos? It didn't help that it rained that day. I think the rains also had a huge part to play in the gridlock. However, I'm trying to, again, hold space for this minister, Kesha, the Controller General. I'm trying to hold space for her. And I'm thinking, how else could this have been averted? Again, the one blame that I can't give her is that there were no palliative measures ahead, put in place ahead. But the minister warned, at this point, has warned all controllers and engineers across the country, emphasizing that no road or bridge should be closed without the approval of the permanent secretary, who must first seek his permission. So the process is the Minister of Works, then the permanent secretary, and then the controller
in every state.
Yes, of the state.
But how did this jump you, sir? How did you not know? As a minister, I'm sure that you signed that amount of money to be used. Like, it's a process. He's acting like he never knew.
Well, the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who also inspected the site, said the government takes full responsibility for the gridlock and caused the repair works. And I have to give him credit for taking that responsibility, for not handing it over to someone else. He acknowledged the inconvenience, but he emphasized that the repairs were necessary for the safety and well-being of Lagosians. This takes us to another part of this conversation. Upon his coming, the Senator David Umahi has also said that the bridge should be opened immediately. But of course, there's been a ditch, there's been an opening, because the process of construction was supposed to start. So they've dug into that place. How do you open up that bridge without making it hazardous to
Lagosians.
Lagosians at this point.
Yes.
I mean, again, these are when it's not our opinion. We're just reporting what's happening. We hear that work must continue because that's what the state governor has said. That work must continue because this is a critical infrastructure. The bridge is one of the oldest in the country, and it has begun to fail. Repairing it is for the good of the city.
The maintenance culture in Nigeria is what I want to even start speaking on now, because with buildings, with roads, with infrastructure, I've been to different locations here in Lagos. I've been to the old NEPA building. I've been to the